Hello again, and welcome back to year 4 of the Religious Education Initiative. This is week 6, and we're continuing our way through the story of Jacob on our day 1 reading. So we're continuing from Genesis chapter 29. Last time we saw Jacob leave his home, instructed by his parents to go for a time to the home of his mother's brother Laban in Padan Aram, to stay there for a time until the anger of his brother Esau cooled down. On his way, he slept at the site where the city of Bethel would later be built, and he had a vision of a ladder from heaven to earth with the angels of God ascending and descending upon it. The Lord spoke to him in the dream and renewed to him the promise given to Abraham and Isaac, that his descendants would be numerous beyond count, and that all the nations of the world would be blessed in him and his descendants. This time we will see him come to the end of his journey and what will come of it. Note, while we include the entire cycle of the birth of Jacob's sons here in the online reading at least, we actively recommend that the entirety not be read by families with younger children, and it's okay to omit it in general. It is a troubling and a difficult passage, so on the online site we suggest where to stop by changing the text to italics at the appropriate place to end, and we'll summarize what happens. Couples without children or couples with older children might benefit from a discussion of the troubled relationships that have resulted from Jacob's deceit and Laban's deceit in its turn, but we'll leave that to the discretion of each family. Here we're only going to read up to the italicized portion. So, Genesis chapter 29, verse 1. Then Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the people of the east. As he looked, he saw a well in the field and 3 flocks of sheep lying there beside it, for out of that well the flocks were watered. The stone on the well's mouth was large, and when all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone from the mouth of the well, and water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the mouth of the well. Jacob said to them, "My brothers, where do you come from?" They said, "We are from Haran." He said to them, "Do you know Laban, son of Nahor?" They said, "We do." He said to them, "Is it well with him?" "Yes," they replied, "and here is his daughter Rachel coming with the sheep." He said, "Look, it is still broad daylight. It is not time for the animals to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go, pasture them." But they said, "We cannot until all the flocks are gathered together, and the stone is rolled from the mouth of the well. Then we water the sheep." While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. Now, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of his mother's brother Laban, and the sheep of his mother's brother Laban, Jacob went up and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of his mother's brother Laban. Then Jacob kissed Rachel and wept aloud. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's kinsman, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. When Laban heard the news about his sister's son Jacob, he ran to meet him. He embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. Jacob told Laban all these things, and Laban said to him, "Surely you are my bone and my flesh." And he stayed with him a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, "Because you are my kinsman, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what shall your wages be?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were lovely, or tender and delicate, and Rachel was graceful and beautiful. Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, "I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel." Laban said, "It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to any other man. Stay with me." So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, that I may go in to her, for my time is completed." So Laban gathered together all the people of the place and made a feast. But in the evening he took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and he went in to her. Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter Leah to be her maid. When morning came, it was Leah. And Jacob said to Laban, "What is this you have done to me? Did I not serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you deceived me?" Laban said, "This is not done in our country, giving the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, and we will give you the other also, in return for serving me another 7 years. Jacob did so, and completed her week. Then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as a wife. Laban gave his maid Bilhah to his daughter Rachel to be her maid. So Jacob went in to Rachel also, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. He served Laban for another 7 years. And we'll stop there, we'll sum up. Then in the course of time, Leah and Rachel and the two maids gave birth to 11 sons and one daughter. Of course, it begins with Rachel being unable to have children, or rather, God sees that Leah is not cared for, so he opens her womb so that she gives Jacob sons, but he keeps Rachel's womb closed, and then the sisters are in competition, and they get their maids involved, and it becomes very sordid and very ugly. Now, there's a lot that we could say about this story. I don't want to get too deeply into this, although we certainly could. There are 2 points that we should draw. First, Jacob has not been behaving very well, and in this passage he reaps the consequences of his own deceit in becoming a victim of Laban's deceit. But he kind of opens himself up to this as well. He doesn't come bringing gifts like Abraham's servant did when he was coming to ask Rebekah for Isaac. But nonetheless, Jacob treats Rachel like a prize, like someone to be gained. He trades with her like property with Laban, and he celebrates like she's property. And there are, among many other things that are happening, these I think are the 2 great mistakes of Jacob. He's already shown himself to be a deceiver, ambitious to try to gain things, and his love seems to be more a matter of passion and possessiveness. Now, Laban is worse. Laban treats his daughters like so much cattle in trading them and bartering them. But anyway, that's I think the first issue. We don't see Jacob at his best. What we do see is God is, and this is the second point, we see God working with very fallen, very broken people to accomplish and fulfill that great promise that he has made to Abraham and to Isaac and now to Jacob. Despite all the sins and all the failures along the way, now Jacob has 11 sons and one daughter, and we'll see he has one more son along the way. And these become the 12 patriarchs. These become the heads of the 12 tribes. We are now at the dawn of the nation of Israel. Not as a reward for these failures, but God turns these failures of Jacob into good. So I think that is enough to say about this. So we'll wrap up for today, and we'll see you all again for day 2 shortly. God bless you.